Thank you so much for joining me today. It is such a powerful time, and you could all be doing a zillion different things, and you have been called to be here in this moment. And I recognize that and honor that, and am profoundly grateful to be here at this time on our precious planet, and to be here in this moment with each of you. I'll share just a little bit about the live stream for those that aren't familiar with working with me. My name is Kristin Kirk, and I had an awakening in 2003 and had an unusual series of events of continual awakening open through the subtle layers of consciousness, which for me aren't subtle at all. I'm seeing a soul classroom with each of your souls in it, and all your karma and conditioning and your infinite brilliance, your enlightened self, your divine God, goddess, source, essence, however you want to call yourself, and relate to yourself in that way. And I'm seeing all of these details, and it is from this depth of embodiment and infinite love and ground that these healing sessions arise out of. And from this place, seeing you at that exquisiteness, it again is always a profound blessing for me to be able to engage with you in this way. Let me just be quiet for a moment, just dropping in more deeply here. One of the things that happens in these sessions is I am functioning on multiple dimensions at a time. And so I may be speaking normally or a little slowly, and I'm also conscious in all these other levels. And sometimes attention needs to drop more deeply into one of the other layers. And so I may stop talking because consciousness is coming into these other aspects to meet you and also support the whole healing container. So I'll just follow that thread for another moment of the healing container, because as I'm speaking, the container is being created, and each of you are finding your way into what I call the soul classroom. So this soul classroom is actually within you, because you are the entirety of all existence, and so everything on the outside is also on the inside. And yet we have created this magnificent universe to incarnate into and have an experience. And so at the same time that you are the totality creating a soul classroom, you also get to be a gorgeous human being that gets to experience yourself, then having a collective healing experience. And if your sensitivity is refined enough, you'll feel yourself in the soul classroom also. So we are the whole thing. And it is this brilliant design and magnificence in which we come to this healing together. And so as I give you instructions for your humanness to respond to, you are simultaneously guiding yourself in your enlightened self, guiding your soul and guiding your humanness through the process that we're going to go through today. I have had a practice for many years on the solstice of the longest night, when we have the most hours of dark that then turns to the beginning of the return of the light. I've had a practice of writing down all the things that I wanted to let go of. And in the deepest dark of the night, offering that, surrendering that. And I would write those down and burn them in a fire. And then I would write down all the things that I was grateful for. And write those down and burn them in the fire. And then I would write down all that in the depth of my alignment of my meditation wanted to come forward into the coming year. I would write all those down, and I would burn them in the fire. Fire is conscious, just as everything is conscious. Everything is consciousness. And everything is inside you. And so we're going to do a similar kind of unfolding, only we're going to be accessing the inner enlightened fire in a dissolving of all that wants to let go, coming into our illuminated presence, offering appreciation for all that has come, and then deeply listening and coming into an alignment to listen to what it is that wants to come forth, which may come in words, it may come in a feeling, it may come in an absolute unknown emptiness of mysterious, brilliant presence that doesn't reveal any bit of the gifts and the gems that are coming, that are on their way. So it will be different for each of you. So I would like to invite you in this moment to rest in your physical body, rest in your presence, allow yourself to be comfortable. If you can sit up, fabulous. If not, make yourself comfortable, lay down, get comfortable in a way that you can still maintain your clarity, and that is equally fabulous. If you fall asleep, that is okay. The depth of the transformation that's available is profound and significant, and trust your instincts. If you suddenly feel like you have to go to bed and go to sleep, then do that. If you suddenly have to drink a gallon of water, then do that. If you feel shifting in the body and need to move or relocate or stretch, then do that. You are the wisdom of the universe. Part of the purpose of this session is for you to remember that. For you to come into your illuminated being, the wholeness that you are, the exquisiteness that you always have been. And before we begin, let's take a moment for you to offer a heartfelt prayer for yourself, for humanity, for all beings everywhere, all dimensions, all time, space, beyond any sense of awareness that you have. For the universe and this precious planet. And for all those that you love and care about. Thank you so much for your heartfelt presence and prayers and love and beauty. And take a moment to allow those prayers to sink in deeply into the earth and radiate infinitely. And I would like to take another moment to acknowledge the earth. So often in our lives, busy lives, and now sometimes quieter lives, we forget to recognize that each moment is supported by the earth. The air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, the clothes that you wear, the ground that you stand on, the house that you're in that has been made of her bounty. As we continue to open in the exercises that come forth through the multiple dimensions of our being, we'll be opening through more and more etheric and expansive, light-filled aspects of our consciousness. And yet we are also human beings in a body on the ground on Mother Earth. And so I acknowledge this of our physical presence, the ground of our being in this realm of humanity, being held by her, held by that consciousness, held by this planet. And as we anchor in ourself to be able to open through higher aspects of ourself, we're like a tree. In terms of the roots of the tree go as far as the branches. And so as we begin this honoring of the earth and bringing your attention to her embrace of you and this ground in which your entire life has occurred, we strengthen our ground, we strengthen our roots, so that we are able to then open and expand through the branches and the leaves. And we will open and bring forth the infinite brilliance that we are in through ourselves, and then back into the earth and nourishing in all directions. Because you as the universe are the whole thing. You are the entirety. And so as we clear and cleanse and process and purify, transform, remember, open and enlighten, we do this in our human vessel, in our soul vessel, in our light body vessels. And yet we do this for all of humanity and all existence, because we are also all of that. And we are gifted this individualness. And so this is where we are the alchemy, we are the crucible, we are the transformational verb of being, the I am of existence, of infinity, living and transforming itself in through the individuated expression and also as the totality. So I'm going to guide you through a process, and I encourage you to trust yourself. There's an amplification of consciousness and energy and illumination here. You may find you have more access to yourself than you have had before or remember having. And so I just encourage you to open to this and to not be frightened. We are often frightened of our brilliance and the magnificence and the power of love that we are. Right now, I am shifting into larger dimensional aspects of myself and allowing consciousness to open there more fully. And I'm naming this just because there is much that can be discovered internally by witnessing another. And so there is a demonstration of the pathway into self-remembrance. You will have access to this recording afterwards, so I encourage you to close your eyes during the exercise and allow yourself to open through your own interior magnificence. Together in the soul classroom, individual clearing and transformation will occur. And the impact of our collective transformation will have a beneficial influence on the collective. Right now there is a beginning organizing, structuring. There are multiple kinds of beings that show up in support of the soul classroom transformation. Right now I'm seeing the Devic consciousness, which may be a new term for some of you. Devic consciousness is another aspect of the oneness that we are, of pure divine awareness that has individuated itself in such a way to support the foundation of existence, of the vehicles that we embody, which includes the earth, universes, atoms, subatomic structures that are beyond our human comprehension, and universes upon universes upon universes. And so the Devic beings that are here in support of these structural transformations that want to occur, both to transform the shadows and create the pathways and structures to stabilize your light, are here in great numbers. And I'm witnessing them all on the ground level, so to speak, gathering themselves together, organizing in order to be able to receive your wishes, receive your gifts of transformation, to transform the shadows, the misunderstandings, the misperceptions, the judgments, the wounds, the hurts, the negative thinking, the trauma. All of this and more. And so please take a moment to rest in your heart. Rest in the depth of your heart with the love of yourself, love for every precious experience you have ever had, and the preciousness that you are here. Through all that, you are here. And there is a place that is untouched by all that has transpired. Please allow yourself to drop more deeply than you have before. You are held in love in an exquisite container. Illuminated by source light and love. Allow yourself to witness yourself outside of time, resting in a illuminated golden light. Where you can see your experiences in front of you. As if on a conveyor belt. Everything is light here. The conveyor belt is light. You are light. Each of the experiences are light. And as you rest in this presence, allow yourself to sink more deeply into your heart. And we will come back to this conveyor belt in a moment. Allowing yourself to rest fully in the presence of your being and your embodiment. Allowing yourself to be saturated through your cells, your body, your breath. Allowing this light to saturate to the depth of DNA, and atoms. And with a gentle, big inhale, taking a huge breath, and then a gentle exhale. Just allow that light to flush through the whole system, releasing out through the bottoms of your feet. You don't even have to see what is being released, just allowing the breath, the power of life, with an inhale and an exhale. Allowing that light and oxygen to saturate in through, penetrating. Allowing the release and also the increased spaciousness and expansion for more light to shine through. There is a term that I often use that I call core flow. This core flow of consciousness through you. I invite you to rest in this ground at the same time as you expand. Many of you are already here, resting in this ground. And so trust your own experience, resting in this grounded, light-filled, illuminated embodiment. I'm going to invite you into a soul exercise. And so if it is more than the mind can follow, just rest and allow the soul to participate. Resting in the illumination of your being. You can imagine or witness experiences on a conveyor belt in front of you. Everything is light. These are the experiences that you have chosen to tend to in this session together today. This is not a thinking exercise. Your soul is acutely aware of the engagement. And you can let the mind rest. And in a rested, still, quiet mind, visions can appear. And so if there are visions that are appearing, your mind is still resting. A certain aspect of the thinking mind is resting, and a higher aspect of the mind that speaks in images and visions is producing the visions. And there may not be visions for you. It may be very quiet and light-filled and still and peaceful. And this whole experience feels like a light bath. There's no one correct way to experience or participate in our gathering today. These events, these moments in time may be from this lifetime, they may be from previous lifetimes. It is your soul's wisdom that is coming forward and deciding. And this conveyor belt is a convenient way of organizing in a linear fashion that which is not actually linear. But it is how the mind currently works in our humanness for most people. And it's easier in this exercise to unfold in this way. And so on the soul level, there's an invitation to rest in your illumination and witness the passing of events on this conveyor belt, and that each experience is light-filled. And there are gifts and gems and profound wisdom from every single experience. And the invitation in this healing, in this moment, is on the soul level, where this invitation will be understood. The invitation is to take the light from each of those experiences and let any of the shadows continue on the conveyor belt to be dissolved and broken down into their natural, elemental, refined particles. And there is great support here for this process. So your job is multifold. One is to receive support, but also receive the gems and wisdom from the experiences that are going to be going by on the conveyor belt. Sometimes this is tricky, because in the receiving, what we're doing is we're separating out the brilliance, the wisdom, the light, the truth from your interpretation of what happened, from the natural human interpretation of an experience. And so there may be attachments to some of those shadow pieces. But he, but they, but I, right? Those places like but. So the invitation is to just soften. Allow yourself to keep anchoring and resting in the light. And allow yourself the deepest, most profound release you have ever experienced. We are going to be able to move through a massive amount of material in a very short period of time. And your ability, your willingness to let go and not say but, will greatly enhance your experience and support the process that's unfolding. There's a just gorgeous support that's here. So take a moment to drop even more deeply into yourself, allowing yourself to take inventory. And this is not a thinking mind process. This is a deep soul level process that is occurring. Allow yourself to drop into your gorgeous magnitude of infinite joy and bliss and light And allow yourself to begin this process. And we do this together with the support of each other. The support of divine consciousness and all beings, great and small. Size is just a game anyway. We are infinite. All existence in every single atom. And so big and small, macro and micro, are actually inseparable and the same. There may be periods of silence. As we each continue to drop in. And even though I may be silent, I am in profound support of your process and the unfolding that is occurring. And I thank you all profoundly for the depth of your willingness and your attention in your own inner unfolding and illumination. Some of you may be having sensations or emotions rising up. I encourage you to just gently allow everything to move forward, everything to flow like water, or move as if on a breath or a breeze of an exhale. Sometimes our stories are varied. Sometimes our stories have a theme, a repetitive theme, and so the depth of the emotion is then magnified for the number of times it has been felt. Some of you may be in that movement of releasing through crying. Some of you may be in a softening and a illumination. And just continue to allow yourself to soften and receive the gifts, receive the gems. As your system processes the experience. Allowing the wisdom to come into your heart, come into your being. The light gems. Allowing the shadows to fall away. There are a myriad of ways in which the karma and the conditioning is dissolving. You may be seeing it in multiple ways. Or not seeing it happening at all. Each is perfect. You are each engaged deeply in this process. Some of the transformation I'm seeing is like embers of a fire. Where the stories and the conditioning needed more time to process. And so those are in this golden ember-like process, allowing the gems to glisten and sparkle as the more painful components of those experiences are gently and lovingly transformed in through the nature of fire, another aspect of light. Gently, you continue to expand. As you allow in more and more of your light, transferring more and more of the old. You begin to open to greater possibilities. Limitations often create more limitation because the perspective doesn't see beyond that narrowed focus. And as you resolve previous experiences from limited perspectives, the scope of your perspective, your scope of your perception increases, which allows greater possibility, greater amplitude, greater blessing, greater choice. And I am witnessing through this process an opening that is resulting from the depth of your letting go. That is this opening is opening like a portal. You're surrendering these old perspectives and pains and traumas and wounds, misunderstanding, all of that dissolving and dissolving and dissolving is changing the structures, allowing a greater expansion, and this portal is opening to a higher possibility of co-creation. And as I speak, it continues to open up wider and wider. And there is an invitation to access this portal, to open to the higher frequency, possibilities. And we will do this gradually for this next phase of the healing session. You may be experiencing this in many different ways. You are the whole thing, you are the portal, you are the light, you are the frequencies. You are the transition. You are the soul, you are the human having the experience. honoring the wisdom of your current experience. Continue to rest deeply. Allowing yourself to receive the high frequency purity of light, of these higher possibilities. I had been seeing above the portal, seeing through from that way, and my awareness just popped to see from under the portal. We are the whole thing we can perceive and experience in any angle of creation, any perspective. So from under the portal, there's the experience of God, goddess, source, divinity, exquisite light, and I don't even have words, just the exquisiteness of all creation and existence pouring in through. And each of you receiving. And the clearing transformation process is still continuing to dissolve and let go so that more and more light can come through. So for those of you that feel comfortable receiving that intense purity of light and love that is coming through, allow yourself to just receive that. For those that are engaged in the clearing process with focus there, allow yourself to just be gently, just ever so gently supported and loved. A gentle, gentle embrace of light as your system continues to process. Now I'm popping back above the portal, seeing the great transformation that is available in these times. It's almost like the portal is a breach in the veil that most humanity has been experiencing their life from underneath, not remembering what we are. The limiting beliefs perpetuate that veil as we try to strategize and survive from within those views of limitation and pain and suffering and lack. In order for us to really open in this fullness of the magnificence that we are, it is a profound paradigm change. Where the very things that you have been taught to survive and move ahead in the world and be successful, all these things that we have taught are often embedded in some sense of a perceived lack. Not always, but often. And this shift, this opening of this portal, is an opening into the perfection free from limited ideas. my words right now in this last sentence aren't as exact as I prefer. It's tricky to find language for the shifting of consciousness. I'm going to just speak to this piece again and see if words will come that satisfy. You are a divine being, transforming yourself, transforming your limited perspectives. Your infiniteness is transforming the limited perspectives. And yet you and the limited perspectives can be overwhelmed by the limitlessness of what you truly are. And as we continue in this energetic dialogue and transformation, I am seeing the edges of the portal dissolving more and more as each of you surrender limited perspectives. The enlightened truth of yourself shines brighter. And this is the direct result of this is the widening of this portal. As each of you shed the old story to come into a deeper alignment with your enlightened self. And there are more beings coming in, divine beings coming in to support the transformation that's occurring. There's another level of karmic resolution that is now happening through the field. And so there is a different quality of Devic consciousness coming in to support another aspect, another level of resolution, another level of karmic resolution. There are different kinds of karma. When we moved through the softer layer of karma that's more easily resolved, and with this level of light and opening through the portal and a deeper access to the truth of yourself, you then have the capacity to begin changing I don't have a name for this other kind of karma. it's more fixed. It's not as soft as the other karma that was dissolving. So we're beginning to reach a level of illumination that can transform. And just allow yourself in this process to just keep breathing, softening. There's an intensity when we hit this level of transformation. Some of you may be resting in bliss and light. Some of you may have fallen asleep. Some of you may be feeling the intensity. Allow yourself in the midst of whatever experience you're having to feel the love in your heart. Allowing yourself to be filled with love and compassion. Love and compassion, love and compassion. While we support this collective transformation of a denser quality of karma, of karmic material. Love and compassion, love and compassion. Love and compassion. Love and compassion. Compassion has a depth of understanding in the midst of love, an understanding of all that has been gone through and experienced, and equally filled with love. Opening with love and compassion for yourself and all beings. We all know what it's like to suffer. And if you allow in this moment, allow yourself to rest with that love and understanding. Like when a child scrapes their knee, you can't take away the pain for them or the experience, but you have a depth of love and compassion for what that feels like. Right now we are in an accelerated transformation. So the length of time that a scraped knee would take to heal is not necessary. And yet in this process, the karma is deep. And we need the love and compassion to be able to meet the moment of what is being felt on the soul level, even if years have turned into a moment or a minute. Love and compassion still soothes the transition. Now we're moving into another aspect. All these layers are continuing to move forward, and each of you are transforming in your own pace. And so when I add a new element, the other elements are still in process, they're still happening. And so now we are adding to this movement of releasing in through body consciousness, where the body has its own memory. Seemingly independent from the mind and the emotions. It's like coming in through the humanness, the human it's like the human blueprint of interpretation of that produces the conditioning. And so as I continue to focus in on this dissolving, it's coming into places in through the body and touching on DNA and nervous system, memory, just the ways that the human organism has interpreted experience. And so there's attention coming towards that kind of human imprinting, or I'm not quite sure what word to use, although the energy is very distinct. And so this healing light consciousness is moving through the denser layers of karma, and then moving in through the way the body has interpreted life. As you come into greater illumination, your mind sees life differently, your heart responds differently, and the physical body also changes. And so right now we're tending to the precursor to the body changing. We're tending to the way that the human psyche interprets and then interfaces with the structures of your physical body, which then, manifest in the physical structures and chemicals and reactions and experiences and all the chemistry that is then the physical manifestation of the thoughts and the emotions. So we're supporting that light of yourself coming all the way through. So with that karma transforming, then there's greater spaciousness for the physical components of your human psyche and body and human fabric to begin shifting in such a way that the interpretations, the new interpretations from the illuminated perspective can make their way in through the subatomic structures of your human body to then animate your life's choices and your life's experience. Allow yourself to gently continue to receive the illumination from your soul and from your enlightened self and source existence. Allow yourself to let the light penetrate from the inside out. There may be agitation or a little sense of unfamiliarness. And I invite you to continue to allow that light to come in through spaces smaller than you even knew existed. Allowing this purity of being to come through you from the depth of the subatomic consciousness, arising through the atoms and molecules and DNA and cells. Allowing yourself to be filled with the information pouring forth in love and purity and awakened consciousness. And as we deepen, there's another layer of releasing and cleansing. Allow yourself to either use be with the light flowing through, or invite or use an image of the purity of water flowing through. Or you can imagine yourself in a light bath or sacred water bath with a waterfall, pure water coming in with flowers, floating in the bath, filled with light and love. And the residue or any other pieces that are evaporating, just allowing them to evaporate into the light and into the water, and the water continues to purify and flow through, purifying you from the inside and from the outside, from the inside out and the outside in. Allowing yourself to be the pure vessel in which light and love flow through in both directions. And you become the hollow reed, the divine, illuminated emptiness. And the infinite radiance overflowing. Simultaneously. And there is an even deeper mystery, more pure than the infinite purity, a deeper refinement of light than the most pure light, a more subtle, refined, exquisite frequency, deeper than the subatomic frequencies. We might call this grace when we receive the taste or remembrance. And I invite you in this moment to open to that depth of yourself. Where the greatest transformations are beyond effortless. And allow yourself to receive yourself from that depth of grace, to transform any last bits of karma, conditioning, identification, storyline, whatever any last bits there are. Allow yourself to receive from this depth of yourself, to completely resolve everything you intended to accomplish today in this transformation. Allowing yourself to rest in the infinite purity and rest in the ease, the newness, the potentially unfamiliar spaciousness, the limitlessness, the grace, the abundance, the love in all directions. Allowing yourself to breathe this in. You might be noticing a newness familiar to when you were first born. That freshness of a clean start. The newness of being. This will continue to open and expand. And the more that you nurture and nourish this, it will continue to expand. And in what ways can you nourish this and tend to yourself like watering a garden and taking out the weeds and opening up to the sun? You can support yourself through meditation, allowing yourself to soften in the presence that is here, that you are. Resting without agenda in the purity of being. You can nourish by being out in nature, feeling your feet on the ground, being conscious of the air that you are breathing, the water you are drinking, the love that you are shining and sharing. You can support this by taking baths. Epsom salts baths for purifying, flower essence baths or flowers, or the awareness of purity, purification in through your bath or in your shower. This can just help resolve anything else that it's hard to finish my sentence because we are functioning outside of time. And there is such a level of completion that has occurred. Of what your soul desired today. So it may be that there are other things you decide that you want to dissolve, and so these practices will help support that continual unfoldment. But what you have set out to accomplish today has been accomplished. Allow yourself to rest in this light and new ground on the inside. One of the values of adding in some practices is that our habituated ways can be again, I need to keep speaking differently. It's like speaking about the forward movement. As your system changes, your habits want to change. So I encourage you to allow yourself to be different than you were an hour ago. To allow yourself to want different things, to go to bed earlier, drink more water, maybe exercise more, or exercise less if you're an obsessive exerciser, right? That just allowing that newness and this deep listening to the wisdom of your body. You might have a completely different diet from now on. We are changing so dramatically. And so I just deeply encourage you to listen and to be in that beauty that is unfolding. We have entered a new age of being, and the pathways for awakening are easier. The possibilities of multidimensional functioning and embodiment are magnified. The transformation that has been happening is exponential and has just been completely mind-blowing for me. And it is the reason that I am able to be here and to witness and support, facilitate, corroborate, collaborate, the whole thing, right? The whole thing. The reason I am here with the capacity of this is because of all the transformation that has happened. We are in completely, outrageously epic times. And what we are stepping into is an inner magnificence that is in the process of manifesting on the outward, on the outside. And so I thank each of you profoundly for your contributions today and your stepping in to meet yourself so bravely and so fully, to complete the level of dissolving that has occurred. And so I bow to you in that brilliance and thank you for your efforts. I'd like to just take a moment and I just want to rest in my heart with the awe and wonder and magnitude of what we all are and what we can accomplish together. It's through our love, our consciousness, and our collaboration that we create magnificent things. And transform our lives in the world. And for me, this is how it happens, the transforming on the inside, and then the outside follows. My website is kristinkirk.com, and Kristin is spelled with 3 I's, like your third eye. 3 I's, 3 vowels, kristinkirk.com. And you can sign up for the newsletter there and see anything else that is happening. Feel free to email me if you have, if you want to share your experience. I always love to hear. blessings, blessings, blessings on you, beloved preciousness. Thank you for your love and your heart and your being. This exquisite solstice and inner transformation. Thank you so much. Namaste.